Hi, Film Espresso here. Today I'm going to explain a sci-fi film called Project Almanack released in the year 2015. The movie begins with David Raskin doing a video to get a scholarship. In his clip, he presents his two engineers and their invention. The invention is a drone that is controlled with the hand. You don't need a controller, because this drone has a motion sensor integrated. They start having fun with their drone but lose the signal because of a call. The drone crashed. David finishes the video by saying that the demonstration was a success and hopes he will be received at university. Every day David looks at the mailbox. One day he took a letter and saw that he got accepted to the m.i.t. He is very happy and does a dance of victory, but gets very disappointed when he sees it's only a $5,000 scholarship. He needed $40,000. One of his engineers wants to help David and proposes that he fake a sickness in a joke, but also that he needs to take more risk because the m.i.t. wants an enterprising personality type. The same engineer has a big crush on Jessy and can't stop filming her. When they left the school, the car stopped and the guy behind them is very mad because he can't pass. Finally, the car works. When they arrive at David's place, they see the house is for sale. David's mother says that they need to sell the house to pay the m.i.t. David does not agree with that but finally accepts and says that if his dad was still alive, something like that would have never happened. David doesn't want to give up and says to his sister that he will find something that can change the mind of the m.i.t. and give him more for his studies. David's sister, Emily, finds a camera that their dad was using. They looked at the last video and found something very strange. David sees himself at his 7th birthday but looking exactly like he looks now. He shows it to his friend and his sister, who can't believe what they are seeing. David is convinced that this is him because they have the same shirt, backpack, and glass. David and his friend try to recreate the scene of his 7th birthday. They saw that it had a light switch right where David was in the video. This light switch leads to the workshop of David's dad. When they turn on and off the light, they notice an underground hatch that is connected to the light switch. When the light is off, they can open it. They find a briefcase inside. They open it and find something associated with the army named Almanack Project. It seems that it's a plan for building a time machine. David listens to the video a second time and notices that when his dad disappears, he has the box with him. The little group of geeks is now motivated to build a time machine. They work hard on this new project and finally try it. It seems that something is happening when a bulb lights up by itself but finally doesn't work. The next day, they continue to work on the time machine without getting discouraged. The small group saw that they can control the time machine with a program on the computer. They work hard and follow the plan. One day, one of David's friends touched the button by accident. Again, the time machine doesn't work because of an overload. David notices that he has the same spot on his shirt on the video of his 7th birthday. They need hydrogen for the time machine to work, so they go to their school to steal it. Arrived home, they tried the time machine with a toy car, but again it didn't work. David realizes something and asks Jessy, his crush, to park his car in the garage to use his battery. They try the experimentation again and everything starts to go insane and a power outage happens in all the city. They look for the toy's car and find it on the wall. They looked at the GoPro and it seemed like it'd work. The next day, the small group sits together when Jessy rejoins them. David notes that the Jessy key is the same as the video. David wants to try the time machine using rats before sending humans because he doesn't want anybody to get hurt. Jessy does not agree and wants to use it as soon as possible. Finally, everybody is out of patience and they go outside to have more space. They start the engine and set it for 24 hours in the past. Everything goes crazy for 2 minutes. After an explosion, David and his friend wake up. They realize that it worked when Mark drew a circle on his own neck. When the other Mark wakes up, he sees his other self and starts bugging. They quickly get Mark out of the house and he's okay. Out of the house, they get very happy about their success, but a dog starts to run over them and David activates the time machine to get back in the present. Everything has worked except that the dog is with them and pics of a missing dog are now all over the city. They establish one rule for the use of the time machine. They need to stay together when they travel. Gab, who failed his oral presentation, returned in the past to take the test again. Gab failed the test again and again because the questions seemed to change, but they returned multiple times in the past and he finally succeeded. David's sister wants revenge on a girl who bullied her and shot her with some soft drink. After that, they buy a lottery ticket and win only 1.8 million because Mark forgot a number. David gives a check to his mother. David reveals to Jessy that he wants to return to the past to see his father the day he disappears, and this is why he improves the time machine to go back further in the past. The next day, Mark comes to school in Lamborghini and brings with him food for all the school. At 4 p.m. David summons all his friends to go back 3 months in the past to see a concert of Imagine Dragons. Everybody likes David's surprise. David dedicates a song to Jessy and shoots a ball to the crowd. After that, they spent the day doing several activities. Jessy clearly wants a kiss from David, but he doesn't have the courage to do it and she goes away. David is mad after himself and wants to return back to the future. Back to the present, David looks at the video from when he messed up and returns to the past to change that. Then he kisses her. When David comes back and sees Jessy in his bedroom, they sleep together. When he comes back, a lot of things seem weird. His mother, who had found a job, didn't have one anymore. He has a new friend. His teacher loses his job and an airplane crashes. Gab finds that what they did has an impact on the present. Their school didn't go to the playoffs because the captain of the team got somehow injured, and the pilot who was driving the airplanes was supposed to watch the playoff match instead of working and crashing the plane. David's friends want to stop themselves from creating the time machine because it caused too much trouble in the world, but David refuses. He knows that if he does that, he will lose Jessy. David wants to fix things by himself, returning when the captain was injured. He is stopped by Gab and confesses that he did a time travel alone. When Gab goes to see the other, David goes to the night where the captain was injured and saves him. Everything seems to go back to normal except that Gab is now in a coma. Mark wants to return to the past for saving Gab, but David is confused and tries to find a solution by himself. When he activates the time machine, Jessy finds him and goes with him. David confesses to Jessy. She accepts what he has done, but then in the past, Jessy saw the other Jessy and she disappeared. David runs to the time machine to go save her, but he lacks fuel. Cop runs into him because they think he has something to do with the disappearance of Jessy. David manages to steal hydrogen from his school and immediately go back to the past. David goes back to his 7th birthday to end all of this. He sees his father and his mother and himself in the mirror. David follows his dad downstairs. David's dad recognized his son almost immediately. His father said, "Did you succeed?" David doesn't want to answer his question and says that the second chance doesn't exist whatever he does. His dad goes back to see his younger son. David puts fire to the plan and disappears, but leaves the camera there. We go back to the scene where David's sister finds the camera. David and his sister find all the videos they were filming. The movie ends with David talking to Jessy.